All right. So, welcome to the first ever Noon Ball podcast. My name's Gunnar Person. I'm a basketball skills coach, and kind of just wanted to start this podcast because, just out of pure enjoyment of socializing and catching up with people. A lot of the guests on this podcast are going to be people that I've been close with over the years, some old friends, some new friends. And it's maybe just some people who kind of have the same interests as me. And hopefully, along the way, if we're able to, get a lot of work done, we can branch out and try to, get some other people on board to spread awareness of whatever it is that they're passionate about. And so, anyway, on this first episode, we are going to be talking with Spencer Reaves and Jakob Lowrance, two UCM Mule alumni that are both playing professional basketball over in Spain. So we're going to chop it up with them, kind of see what they're up to, um, help you guys learn a little about them. And then if you guys don't know too much about me, you can learn a little bit about me along the way as well. So, anyway, check out this episode. If you have any feedback, you know, um, just hit me up. Let me know what you think. All right. Appreciate you guys. Okay, so we've got the first ever episode right here, and I'm lucky to have two of my guys, Spencer Reeves and Jacob Lowrance, on with me. They're all the way over in Spain. I don't know how to pronounce half the stuff of what they're doing over there, but I do know that I've heard Spencer say like Aspatia a time or two, and I don't know if I did a good job there. But anyway, I was going to go ahead and welcome you guys on. Um, First thing that I wanted to really ask you guys, number one, is like, you guys had a little bit of success there at the beginning with that little championship run. So I mean, I don't care who talks first, but you know, how did that feel personally for both of you?
Well, first of all, we appreciate you having us on. First ever episode. I can't believe it. Um, we're so lucky to be your first guest. Me and Spence, I think,
Absolutely.
are both happy to be here. And yeah, Spathia was pretty good
Spot
pronunciation by
on.
you. But uh,
Cool.
at the beginning of the year, we thought we had some great pieces, and we still do. We still have great pieces. We've hit a couple injuries here and there, and what do we win first to start off the year? Like eight
I
straight.
think we were 8-0, yeah.
We won eight straight to start off the year, and things were rolling along really well. And I was like, you know what? Like being a rookie, I was like, you know what? This professional basketball stuff, it ain't too hard. Like it isn't that bad.
Right.
And then we had a little rough patch, and then we won the cup though. And I was like, okay, we're about to just roll off probably another eight straight to start this like next phase. And then we hit a little rough patch here, lost four straight, but um, we got to pick it up here going into the next round. You got anything else to say, Big Spence?
I mean, yeah, just to piggyback off kind of what he said, but we started off really well. We have run into some injuries. I had a little leg injury there that I think I missed a game for, and Cobb a couple weeks ago had a pretty bad something kind of roll with his ankle. It was kind of something he's never experienced before, so he's still trying to get back to full strength. But this league is tough, top to bottom. You're not going to play anybody. There's not anybody in the league you're really going to play, on a weekly basis that is just like a cupcake walk. That's how
No
everyone's
doubt, man.
pros. I mean, they're pro basketball.
That's what I was gonna say. Like everyone over there, no matter what pro league you're in, everyone's trying to make a living off of it. And so whenever it comes down to, you know, paying the bills, rent's due, you got to make sure that you're going out there taking care of business. So,
Yeah, like piggybacking off
uh,
that, like a lot of those
but
guys who are over here, we might think like, okay, this and that about them, but like all the imports were probably the best players on their college team.
Absolutely,
You got to
and,
remember
and,
that
and some
today.
of the best
right.
players in their conferences for sure.
Yeah.
Like you don't play pro,
Hmm.
not being one of the top players in your conference, or you must really know somebody for that to happen.
Or if
So
you're or if you're big, or if you're big. There's some questionable questionable big.
No, for sure. But also to kind of talk about, the little skid that you're on right now. I mean, I think ultimately, um, regardless, that right there is kind of not necessarily like a lesson, but I think that it goes to show that you got to have some sort of adversity to at least, finish it strong. And I think that it's good for you guys to do that now because it exposes where your weaknesses necessarily are, so that whenever that big opportunity rolls around, you guys can fix it and make a change where it needs to be
No, I
done.
mean I agree completely. Like we're on like a 4 game skid, but I think the team that that's in front of us in the league, the
They
team that's
probably
been first
lost.
place, I think they've lost three straight, if not three out of four. So the league's just kind of been flip flopped. A lot of teams that were in the bottom of the standings are winning games now, and like I said, it's really difficult to win a game in the league. There's no cupcakes or no easy
Yeah.
games, every week.
No,
Yeah, for sure.
it's kind of like they said. You don't want to peak too early, and I don't necessarily think that we've hit like our absolute climax yet. But I think maybe we were climbing so fast, and then we kind of hit like just like a plateau there. And then a lot of those teams that were kind of in the bottom of the league, they've made some changes in their lineups. They picked up some guys, and now they're kind of rising really fast. And you know, I think
Hmm.
I think also another thing that I've noticed is we have such a big target on our back just from winning that cup that every team comes in, they're just so freaking motivated to play us and they just want to beat us so bad. And like after the game, like if they beat us, they're like their whole bench is sprinting on the court, like chest bumping and stuff. And I'm like, this is a regular season game, but they're treating it like it's the freaking finals because they want to beat the team that won the cup and stuff like that. And that like means a lot to them over here.
Well, and I
Absolutely.
mean, three of our four, we lost one in triple overtime, another in overtime. Lost one that was like a one possession game. And then yesterday we took a pretty big L. But they've all been close. We just haven't
But
done
we
a
were still only down six going into the fourth, and then we just had a horrible fourth
yeah.
quarter.
We've been in all the games, but we haven't done a good job of responding to a loss. I think we kind of have been kind of letting it hang over our heads because over here we only play one game a week, so it's not like MIAA play when we were in college. You play on a Thursday. Say you take an L, like you get the chance to redeem yourself, on Saturday.
No, not like 2 days
So
later.
you
Yeah.
lose on a you can even lose on a Saturday and not play again until the next Monday. So you have all week, and I don't think we've done a really good job as a unit, kind of just taking that loss and letting it bother us some. But at the same time, we got to move past it, because
Yeah,
those are going to happen. Like it's pro basketball. You're not going to probably go undefeated. This is Spain, where some of the best basketball, if not the best basketball, is in the world, in Europe especially.
I was gonna say
That's what
outside of
that's what I
America
meant.
for
Yeah,
sure.
like yeah, of course. But
No, I completely agree. I think that like and after this we'll kind of bounce off of the serious note and kind of get into, something a little bit more fun, but I think that it goes to show the kind of teammates you guys are that, even though I was talking to you guys just a second ago about your guys' success and stuff like that, um, you're talking about the outcomes as a team and what you got to do as a team and stuff like that, and there's a lot of younger players who really fail to pay attention to stuff like that. That it's a lot of me and not enough we. You know what I'm saying? So um, hopefully, if I have or if we have any younger players that end up listening to this episode, they're able to take some notes based off of the kind of teammates and the kind of words you guys have to say to them.
yeah. And there's a funny story about that actually. I think a few weeks ago, we won't mention any names, but a guy we were playing against when in the triple overtime game, we missed a shot or something for a game, and he was like, "Y'all were supposed to hit that. I'm trying to go home." Like he didn't even care if they won it. Like
yeah,
in
that
double
happened. Yeah,
overtime,
yeah, that
like
did
he
happen.
didn't even care if they won. He's just out there to like get his 18 a game or whatever, and try and go somewhere else next year. Like, but for me, it's always like team success. Like to me, just feeds into your own individual success, and
Absolutely.
like nobody wants a loser on their team. You
No.
got to show that you're a winner.
Well,
Exactly.
and the same
No
thing.
doubt.
Like, I mean, that of course. How can you talk basketball these days without mentioning something about Kobe? But like, that's one of the greatest winners of all time. Like,
No
he
doubt.
his job. and what he became great at was scoring the basketball.
He was gonna get his 30 and win too at the same
And he was
time.
gonna get his, but that's what he put his time in. Like he would, like he always said, he rather would to win, and that he felt like he had to score to win, and a lot of times he did. I mean, 5 championship rings is more than enough to show that he's one of the greatest winners of all time. So I mean, to any young person player that might be listening to this, like I've always said that what Cobb said, that like individual success on a bad team and not winning doesn't even get looked at that much. Like even with this being our job over here, like guys can average, I think the leading right now in the league is like 17 a game. Dudes can average like that, be top in the league, but if their team's not any good and they're not winning, other teams and clubs seem to look away from guys like that. Like they would rather
Mm-hmm.
have a winner that helps the team win and maybe doesn't get 17, maybe gets 13, 14 a game, and they win a lot. They would prefer having that than a guy that's just kind of all about me.
For sure. Yeah, you can see that, no doubt. And a lot of times, I mean, you don't see it as much with professional athletes. And the thing is that not a ton of people truly watch, European basketball.
No,
And in my personal opinion, I think that the basketball over there is like, in regards to like preparation and skill wise, is far beyond like what it is over here. We just happen to have like tremendous athletes and stuff like that that can, make the game look a little bit easier than what it actually is. So, um, I think that if people were to actually watch that, they would see um, how good the game truly is over there. And so I think it says a lot about you guys being able to continue, a consistent basis, with what you're doing. So keep doing that. Um, my next thing that I was going to talk about, you brought up Kobe, and I mean I think it's inevitable to even like not talk about him after what happened just exactly a week ago. Um, what is your probably like your most memorable thing that had to do or had anything to do with Kobe? Spencer, I know that you weren't necessarily during his playing career weren't necessarily the biggest fan of Kobe, but it doesn't matter at that point because now or once he retired, you had to grow to appreciate the type of player he was anyway.
Yeah, for sure. I was the same way as Spence. Like I was never a Kobe fan, and if there was ever the argument, I was always like Team LeBron over Kobe, no question. Which but honestly, I started liking Kobe once he dropped the 60 point in his retirement. That was whenever I was like, okay, like hats off, respect. Like I even felt emotional, not even being a Kobe fan, but just being someone who respects the game of basketball, and knows he's one of the greatest ever. I was like, okay, that's off respect. That's
Mm-hmm.
probably my favorite like Kobe moment, honestly. Is just the way he went out with 60. That's just who he is. Like he was gonna get 60 that night. No one could stop him. And
Right.
but I'll say my favorite Kobe highlight ever. And right whenever he passed, I was like, we were talking about our favorite Kobe moments in the house, and I had to pull the video up on YouTube, and I had to show it to Spence
oh,
and
I
our
know,
other roommate
I know what you're talking
JP.
about. Yeah.
When Kobe absolutely bammed on Dwight Howard, when Dwight Howard was like a rookie, and he put his you know what just in Dwight's grill. That's my favorite Kobe highlight ever. No question, bro. Just because I don't even know, man. The way he dunked on him was so furious, and it was just his baptism into the league. And Dwight obviously ended up going on to be an All NBA guy, and then him and Kobe, hated each other or whatever, love hate relationship. But that was my Kobe highlight by
Right.
far. But nah, what he was doing with off the court though is probably the best memories I have of him. Is him off the court hanging out with his daughter, who also passed, and just like being that catalyst for like all the young players, having them come work out with him in LA and sharing his knowledge with guys like my favorite player, Kawhi Leonard. If you look at his game, you can honestly see a lot of Kobe in that with the way he does his mid range and
For sure. The mid
oh,
post and all that for
footwork and
sure.
everything. So I think that was probably my favorite thing about Kobe was just him being an ambassador for the game afterwards, and also pushing forward the women's game as well because he was a man who had only daughters, and I think that speaks a lot for him. He wasn't um, wishing for a boy or whatever. Like you've seen the clips now where like the late night show where she was like,
Right.
I'll carry the torch and stuff like that. I think that speaks volumes to his character and who he was as a person, honestly.
Man, oh,
Monumental for
crazy.
sure.
Like I mean, I like Cobb said, like I was not a Kobe fan. Like if anything, I probably when I was younger, it's easier to be a hater on somebody. I probably hated Kobe playing because I mean I was an Indiana Pacer, Reggie Miller fan. That's why we're 31. And man, when Reggie finally made it to the finals, Kobe just busted, his ass so bad, and it was just like that. I couldn't ever like him, and they were winning so much, and being a fan of another team, I really couldn't. I couldn't wrap my head around being a Kobe Bryant fan because the way he was doing stuff was way different than everybody else. And but like
Mm-hmm.
I said, once I watched the 60-point game, I was in my dorm room at UCM my sophomore year. That was the same night that the Warriors were going for the record, I guess what 73rd win.
73, yeah.
And I turned on the Kobe game in the second
We
half,
was all watching that thing.
and I was in my room alone at the time. I was in
Oh,
my room
really?
alone, yeah, and my roommate wasn't around. Man, I'm laying in my bed. It's kind of late. Man, I could not help but get emotional, like tears coming, like seeing him do what he'd done his entire 20 years, bring his team
Mm-hmm.
back and score 60 was definitely my favorite Kobe moment, just for the simple fact that like I became to respect him much more after that. Um, and just being able to see, and over the years after he retired, watching some videos on his, just his Mamba mentality and things like that. I really
Mm-hmm.
want to purchase that book and read it. Uh,
Bro, same. You
I
can't get it. It's
I know
sold
I
out
told
everywhere.
my mom's coming tomorrow, and I told her to look to find it. She can't, but I downloaded it on my iPhone, so I'm gonna do it sometime
Mm-hmm.
soon. But just like Cobb said, he was an ambassador for women's basketball, for changing the game. I mean, he won an Oscar, like being what 2 years, 3 years out the league. Um, Short film.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it was a tough day. Not even being a Kobe fan, it seemed to bring a lot of people together just to
Yeah.
show life
As a
life is
whole,
short,
yeah.
and you got to try to tell the people you love that
Yeah.
you love them, hug the people that you're able to spend the time with, because we all, as a lot of people thought, Kobe Bryant, like he's a killer um, competitor, and I just thought, and a lot of people did, that he was like immortal, like he wasn't gonna probably
I
ever
thought
die until he got old. I mean,
I thought he's gonna end up like Bill Russell. Bill Russell's out there still kicking it, giving away like the Bill Russell like Finals MVP award, and like he looks like I don't know how old he is. He looks like he's about 90 though. Like I thought that was gonna be Kobe one day.
Mm-hmm.
Out there giving away like the All Star Game MVP
you
or
just
something
you
like
just think he's invincible, that something like that's not gonna happen, and
for
it's
sure.
terrible. And prayers definitely go up to him and his family for
Yeah.
losing the husband and a daughter, and
As well as the
yeah,
other victims too. I think that's the craziest thing to me is like all the false narratives that were put out about who was in the crash. Like people just trying
be
to
the
get
first
gain
one,
cloud or be the first
be the
one. Like
first. That was all.
saying Rick Fox died and stuff. I was like, no way. Saying all his daughters
I
died.
have
I was like, no, that can't be true. Like,
I have nothing to say about that because that was like literally none of those people who reported that had any place to say anything about that. And um I mean, I'm not gonna bash on them
yeah,
because it's not my place to judge them, but the thing is like there's got to be something developed to where it's like people are not like I know we have freedom of speech and freedom of press and stuff like that, and that's what makes it challenging is like it's tough to not have um a ticket or something or a fine or something like that for organizations and industries that are able to report stuff like that before it's even been finalized by a sheriff's office or anything like
Release.
that.
Did
So
Did you see though that
um
they did ABC actually suspended the guy that released the report that his daughters were on the helicopter with him. So like they at least took some action, and they
as they
could,
should. That's good
absolutely,
for them, man.
absolutely,
yeah. But I mean, that community
um
lost a lot though. If you think
for
about it,
sure.
like they lost a. I mean,
mhm.
along with Kobe, being probably one of the biggest members of that community, they also lost like the junior college baseball coach. Who knows how many people he had an impact on? He had been the coach there for what something
Oh
years.
man,
5 years, I
Was
think.
the coach of the year in junior college last year. So I mean, it's just crazy. They lost him. That's a huge probably staple of their community. Like what's her name, Christina Mauser was a middle school coach,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other one was basically like an entire family. It was the two parents and the kid, man, and that's just
It's just tragic, man.
It is for sure, and I'll say this: a, a cool thing that, and I saw this on Twitter the other day. Jamal Crawford, he tweeted something out and was saying that like talking about how inspirational Kobe was as a person, and like basically saying that the NBA should come up with a most inspirational award, like the Kobe Bryant award.
I like how
And
they
I know there's been a lot of things come up, but I think that I think that's a brilliant
yeah
way to keep him embedded in the game of basketball forever now
yeah.
because they would have an award named after him and stuff like that. And I thought that
I'm
was
down for
brilliant.
changing the logo too. For real, I'll sign a petition, like hundreds of thousands of people have done.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I
Millions
I
at
bet
think
it
this
is
point.
millions at this point. By the time I saw it 2 days after it happened, and I think there were a couple 100,000.
but
So
I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
Kind of like I guess the NBA. What do they have? Like they have like the Community Assist Award or something. Like they have like the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award in the NFL. Something like the Kobe Bryant Inspirational Award,
Right.
where it's people who are really making a difference, maybe in their community and in the lives of others somehow. That'd be a great award to have.
Absolutely.
Kind of.
So, in light of Kobe, I do have and I haven't shared this with a lot of people, but I do have a story, and it's a funny story that has to do with Kobe. Um, so, I mean, obviously, you guys know that whenever I first started doing training and stuff like that in Warrensburg, I started out at the Yes Building.
oh yeah,
Um, and whenever I started out there and I was doing workouts one summer before I started doing stuff with Pure Sweat. Um, there was a girl who was going into her senior year. Well, she just finished her senior year. She was going to play college ball at Crowder College, and we were in there doing a small group workout. And always at the end of the workouts, I let them play ones. Play king of the court. And I had a pair of Kobe eights that I used to wear all the time, and I loved them. Like I loved the traction. They were comfortable. I mean, I just loved Kobe's, and anyone who's had Kobe's knows that they're good shoes.
Yes, sir.
Um, But anyway, at the end of the workout, I was like, you know what? Because this girl, she was scoring on the high school players and stuff like that. And so I was like, here, check up. I'm going to guard you. Man, I go out there. I go out there and I'm guarding her. And I will never live this down. Um, she took one little side. It was 4 dribble max, had to put some parameters on it. And she took a little like push out float dribble to go out towards the left wing. And she like did this weak, weak crossover. But I tell you what, that crossover broke me and I fell in those Kobe's. And as soon as she went up and she made a layup or whatever. And as soon as she got done, I took the shoes off. And a week later, we had a little fundraiser event at the Yes Building. And it was, if you donate a pair of shoes, there was a new barbershop in town called All Stars
oh yeah.
Barbershop. And they came up there. And if you donated shoes, you got a free haircut. And as soon as we had that event, I took those Kobe's up there. They were in amazing condition. I took them up there. I said, I'm never gonna wear these things again. I got broke by a 18-year-old girl in them in ones. I said, you can have them. I don't need a haircut. So I dropped those things off, and
I
I
don't even blame you.
it saddens me because I wish I still had them to this day. But man, I could not rock those because that was the first thing that I thought of anytime I saw those
Man,
shoes.
that's too funny
So,
for real.
but the other one that I saw, the other story I saw was Luke Cooper. Shout out Luke was talking about on Twitter, and his tweet blew up. But he said he was
I saw it.
uh at Kobe's daughter's team's practice or whatever.
I
Did you
saw
guys
it.
see
Yeah.
that? Said he went out there and he was playing against their team. They were playing pickup or whatever, and he was getting up shots, and he wasn't making any shots. And uh, Kobe said, "Dang, you gonna make one?" And Luke said, "It's all. I'm a volume shooter. I figured you'd understand that." He said, the only thing I understand is the number 5, Frodo."
He
He called him
roasted him.
Frodo.
Yeah, I saw that. That was too funny. Oh man. And Kobe had that sense of humor though too,
But
where he would talk that trash, which
But I feel like he didn't talk a ton on the
No,
court.
he didn't talk a ton on the court, but
But if you tested him now,
you woke up the beast if you did that for sure.
He analyzed what he was gonna say. Like, some of those dudes, like, it just hooping in general, whenever you compete, like, sometimes you just start talking out the side of your neck, saying stuff that don't make sense, but this man analyzed and was thinking before he was even
Well,
speaking, you
he
know?
was I mean, he's a genius. Like listening to like interviews he's done after he's got done playing, talking about like his mentality and how he approached games and I've tried to like kind of emulate that a little bit more recently, and it's crazy that it was his death that sparked more of an interest into what he was doing, which I'd watched some videos before, but I've the last week I've been deep into Kobe, the Mamba mentality, just seeing how he approached games because his work ethic was second to none. I mean, because he wanted to win, he wanted to be great, he just wanted to be successful at his craft. Like he put 100% into that. So, um, but he also showed
So,
that it's bigger than basketball too. As he showed like 3 years,
uh-huh, for sure.
after he was done.
That's a no doubt, man. So are you saying that you get up at 4 a.m. to go to
Man, they
workouts
don't
now?
have the gym open at that time, but probably not anyway. But
So you still staying up till 3 or 4 playing
I don't
Fortnite
play
then?
Fortnite no more. The video games are kind of. Hey, I
Bet.
ain't gonna lie to you. I've started reading more. Little New Year's
Good.
resolution. Been reading a little bit more. The video games just aren't as fun to me. I'm still deep into the Netflix, but
but
this,
Gunner, you gotta realize it's so boring over here, man. Like Kobe at least had a family to go take care of or something too. Whenever he
hold,
wasn't working out, what else am
hold,
I supposed to do besides go play video games, Gunner?
hold up.
No, I mean, I
We got
understand, I respect that, and I
a
know
lot
that,
of free
like,
time. We'll say that.
before
Man, we need to take that back because he made it sound like this place is awful.
Nah, it's not awful. It's just I don't. I think part of the problem with being over here, I'll
Oh
say
God,
this.
here we go. All right, let's go. Let's hear
Part of the problem with being over here is that it's not necessarily boring,
it. Let's hear it.
and there's probably stuff to do around here. But honestly, for me at least, like, I'm a pretty outgoing person, but over here I kind of feel a little bit reserved at times and like I don't feel comfortable in some places, mostly because I can't even speak to anybody. And like if I do happen to get lost or something, I can't even really talk to anybody and ask them like where's this or where's that. Like I can kind of make it out and figure out a way to say it, but I mean, I'm not fluent in Spanish like so it's tough sometimes to like even want to go out and have to like deal with like messing with the bus system and like find ways to get places and stuff. So you know,
We
that's how I
good.
feel.
right.
Come on, we
I
get home.
also I know. And the thing is like, it's not that you guys definitely didn't take it for granted, like other people definitely have at the collegiate level, but like it's different whenever you guys were playing college ball and you get to go to the gym every single day to work out or get shots up, not just for practice, but just to go, get those shots up, and get the reps up of whatever it is you're trying to work on. And I know that it makes it tough when you're over there, so I mean, that's just something to kind of put a little nail
Well,
in it so that people understand. Like, there's a lot of college dudes that don't even do that,
no,
you
and
know?
and to the college dudes or like the high school dudes that get to go work out. Like I had a key to my high school gym since
Lucky.
I was in probably 7th grade, 8th grade. Like I could go up there whenever I wanted, get shots up whenever. And the same thing with college. Like we could get in there anytime, get in there with you to work out. But like people that don't really know about like European basketball, like the EuroLeague is probably the second best league behind the NBA. Where a lot of dudes that don't, maybe sign NBA contracts, lots of NBA dudes are in the EuroLeague right now. Um, like Alex Abrinas and Nikola Mirotic are on the same team right now, Barcelona. But like even clubs like that, their facilities and stuff are not even as nice as like high major Division 1 facilities. Like they have more advanced. The gyms are nicer when it comes to that, and they still have a lot of money, but it's just different. Like less. Not, I'm not saying less money is spent on it, but it's just the technology and stuff like that is so much different. But like even at a lower level like me and Cobb are at right now, like it's hard for us to get in the gym. So like you were talking about, people need to take advantage if they have someone that's willing to let them in the gym or they have access to a gym, especially in college, because I don't think there's any college coach in the country that's like, hey, like there's no, you don't,
Don't bother me.
yeah, don't bother me, or you don't need to be going to the gym extra. Like I think that's the complete opposite of what most of them say. So it's like they need to take advantage of of the resources and stuff that they have because we can get a little bit of extra workout, but it's very limited and it's
Mm-hmm.
has to fit a perfect time schedule for it to happen. So um, definitely be thankful if you have the opportunity to get in the gym and use that as an advantage.
That's probably the toughest part. Like being
Transitioning, yeah, for
well,
sure.
not even, but like being home in the summer. Like whenever I go home to like the Falco, it's a lot like tougher for me to get in the gym. Like like I kind of had created like a little bit of a relationship with like the principal a couple summers ago of the high school where he would let me in the gym, but it had to be like kind of a certain time, and then there was a couple times where he might not have been there or something. Like he did his best to like let me in whenever I needed to, but it was still like tough for me to get in there every day, and that's kind of why I spend a lot of time in like Warrensburg in the summer, because I know that our coaches are gonna help us out or whatever, and like people that work there and the staff, and you know got a lot of love for UCM for that for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so basically, kind of to finish it off, I'll ask you guys two different questions. Um, you answer it how you please. Um, I think the first one's pretty. Um, it, it, uh, I don't know. I feel like you should have an answer that comes to the top of your head relatively quickly. But for each of you, who um, who would you say basketball player wise is most influential on your playing career?
Mine would be Reggie Miller. I mean, that's why I wear 31.
Hmm.
My dad is from Indiana, about an hour from Indianapolis, so I grew up a Pacer fan, and that was around the time where I started really watching and really enjoying NBA basketball. And I had a guy and a team to root for. So I'd probably say Reggie Miller. I mean, but there's other guys throughout the league that I like. I would say like even a Manu Ginobili, like a lefty, crafty, not just super athletic, but just finds a way to be successful and able to score the basketball and hopefully win a lot of games in my career. So I don't
Right.
know about.
Um, for me, I'd probably say there's like a couple guys who I've looked to. I think throughout my life, like I've always been like a little bit fluid, like with who I really like, who I liked at the time. I kind of been really more into one player, more into another player. But whenever I was really young, like really really young, like first starting to play basketball, in, like second grade or like whatever, I know Shaq was my guy because he was huge and like way bigger than everybody else. And at the time, like I was way bigger than everybody else whenever I was that little. Like I was so huge and like big and hefty. So like I love Shaq, and I used to wear his number and stuff whenever I was a kid coming up, and then once I got into like middle school though, so I was just like a hater. I was a hater, so I didn't really like Kobe and I didn't like LeBron either. I kind of didn't like either one, so I had to kind of look other places to find players, and so I kind of started that's whenever I really started just kind of finding my way towards like those stretch bigs, who are really skilled bigs, more like different than a Shaq or something like that. So I
Hmm.
think I really started like um, going towards like Dirk Nowitzki and like the way he can shoot the ball so well and like how he gets his shots off with his fadeaways and stuff. And then a little bit later, even though he was later in his career, I started really, really, really liking Tim Duncan, and he's probably my favorite player of all time. Honestly, is Tim Duncan, just because his footwork, and he never did anything special, and he wasn't the most athletic. I mean, he was big now and he was lanky, but he wasn't the most athletic. He didn't do anything crazy in the post. Like Dirk was shooting crazy fadeaways. Not everybody can hit those shots, no matter how much you practice them. But like
Hmm.
everybody can hit a bank shot, like face up bank shot off the glass if you practice it enough, or if you get your footwork down, you can do what he did. Like he didn't do anything absolutely spectacular, but he just got the job done. And talk about an all-time great winner. You know,
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
that's someone I think of. And then now recently, honestly, I mean Kawhi's my favorite player, but I don't think he's had as much influence on the way I play the game. I just like his mentality, kind of. But
Hmm.
who's been influencing me a lot lately, and who I will look up like YouTube videos of him a lot and like see how he plays is Jokic, just because the way he passes the ball and does literally everything for his team. Like he's just
He ain't athletic at
yeah,
all.
and
Right.
and
Dude,
with me not being athletic at all and seeing someone like him do what he can do, like it gives me a little bit of hope. I mean, he is
For
7 foot.
sure. Right.
He is
Well,
7 foot.
and for anyone who doesn't know, um, Kobe looks just like Jokic. So
I
if you ever get a chance, go ahead and go over to Instagram and just search at Kobe Low 50 because that man looks just like Jokic. So real quick, my last question for you guys is and you guys can, like I said, answer this how you please as well, but um a person, a situation, anything like that. What is something, and this is something that I want to make a focal point on just about every episode that I have is showing gratitude. Um, if you could talk to one person right now, and show some sort of gratitude, who would that person be and why?
man,
You want me to go?
yeah. If you're ready, go ahead.
Gratitude.
Man, I got. I mean, I got a couple, of course. I mean, I can't. I don't know if I can just pick one, honestly.
Right.
I mean,
That's the toughest part about it, and I
it's a
don't want anyone to feel singled out by any means, but um, I think that it's something that that I've done a lot more recently is like at school before school starts, I've got a little notepad and I write a gratitude list of things or people or situations or whatever it may be that I'm grateful for. And
Mhm.
so I wanted that to be something that like I kind of address with at some point with whoever's on the episodes with me. So,
No, well, I would say it just depends on kind of what level of my life that I was at.
mhm,
Because I have so many people that I'm grateful for. Of course, I'm grateful for my mom and dad. Growing
yeah,
up, especially from like if we put it in like there's like like kind of like a sports podcast, like put it in sports terms, like I grew up in a family of basketball players. Like both my parents played Division 1. My brother's now at Oklahoma, so it's just like I was born with that, and I can't thank them enough for putting me in that situation and you know pushing me to be the best that I could be, but not overdoing it at the same time. And I would also say I'm thankful for almost all the coaches that I've had. In some way, they've
yeah,
influenced me to continue on playing this game, and being able to get paid to do that is huge for me. And I mean, even if we're going that far, I have to be thankful for you for what you've done
for sure,
in,
no
in
doubt.
in my in my basketball life. Like me and you were going to class together a couple years ago, and we had no idea who each other was, and
mhm,
we we formed that connection and bond through ball. Um, and you were telling me how you enjoyed doing workouts, and I was like, well, I mean, I'm always about getting in the gym, getting up extra shots and stuff like that. So I would love to someone that studies the game and wants to improve someone's skill set. So like, and you've done that for us for a couple years now, and I can't be more thankful for that. And now look, where you are with when it comes to you're an assistant coach, head JV coach, at your school, and look where your individuals like skill coachings went. You have
mhm.
your own company now, which I know me and Cobb are proud to be under when it comes to getting our work in the summer. But
I should have worn my shirt, even though you can't see me. I should have rocked it.
yeah, so,
That's on
man,
me.
just a lot of things that I'm grateful for, man, and it's hard to single out. I guess it just depends on what time in your life you're talking about,
Mhm.
um, because always everyone makes an impact,
For sure.
and some people continue to make an impact, like parents really do. Some coaches don't make as much of an impact anymore because you're not kind of under their supervision and stuff like that, but they're still there for you if you were ever to need them. So it's good to have connections like that, and it's it's crazy to think a game that we get to play brings you so close to so many people,
Yeah,
and you got to be really grateful for
I
that.
think, I think for me, like I would be like you have to say your parents and just like your family, like my mom and dad and my brother Caleb are definitely my biggest support system
Of
for
course,
sure, and
yeah,
like I'm eternally like grateful to have them in my corner, just have them in my life. Not everybody gets blessed with a family as supportive as mine. So I think I'd have to say them first because in anything I wanted to do, if I wanted to just hang it up right now and quit, like they'd be support me in whatever I want to do, not
yeah.
just
Oh, for
basketball.
sure.
So I think that's the special thing about like my family is they don't care. They don't care what I do. I mean, as long as it's obviously something good, as long as I'm doing something good, like whatever it is, they don't care if I'm hooping or not or whatever. They're always going to be there for me. But and with my brother, even like before I ever met you and started working out with you, he was really the one to kind of help me work on my game and like if I wanted to go to the gym, he was the one in there rebounding for me and stuff like that and whatnot. So that's always
That's
he's always been like somebody that I've been really really grateful to have in my life. Just from that standpoint, him being such a supportive brother and not asking anything from me in return. Obviously, just doing it out of just because we're family and he loves me really. So I
right,
think
and
that's been
I can
big.
piggyback on that, man. Your brother, and I'm grateful for your brother too because he is honestly one of the most genuine people you will probably ever meet in your whole entire life.
Absolutely.
And he will be on he will be on the podcast. As a matter of fact, probably right after you guys because of ever since he ended up going to UCM, he's been someone really close to me. So I'm grateful for your brother for sure, Cobb. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to meet him either. So, um, but anyway, I mean the whole thing with the gratitude thing is, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Spencer, was you can't single-handedly point out one thing, and that's the point of doing it. Is it shows you that you got to be grateful for multiple things, not just one specific thing. So I'm glad that you were both able to mention multiple things, and most
Yeah.
importantly, I'm glad you guys are able to, you know, I know you're busy guys, and I'm glad you're able to devote some time to at least just chop it up with me, and be the first ever episode on here. So appreciate that.
Sure, I had a good and I gotta say one more thing
I think I do too
because
after you.
because if I didn't say this, I gotta say this because without the coaching staff at UCM, I think taking a chance on me because I didn't even have that was the only full ride I had out of high school. That was the only one, and I think without that, like I don't think the dominoes would have fell, to where I'd be able to do well there, become like all conference, and then make my way here. And just like the trust that they had in me and like the confidence, like letting me start as a freshman and stuff. Like I think I'm forever grateful for those guys too, because they really just jump started my career kind of and pushed it in the way that the direction that it's at now, where I can play this game that I love at a professional level for money. So I had to throw them in there too, just because they really took a chance on me because I was just kind of a chubby kid from the middle of nowhere, that didn't really have a lot of offers or interest or anything. So I'm always grateful for them.
Well, I have to
For sure.
piggyback off that and say, I'm grateful for him too, even though Coach K didn't offer me out of high school when he was at Arkansas Tech.
And he
I
regrets
hope
it. He regrets it every day too.
he listens to the podcast, and I hope we've squashed that beef. And I had a great 3 years at UCM, but yeah, they did a good job of shaping me into the player that I am today. And I just want to add, I how can I forget this? I'm really grateful for God, man. Like I have to sit down and reflect every day, or try to every day. How blessed I am to be able to play, like I said, a game for
Hmm.
as my job right now. Like, and that's not possible, without him blessing me with the people that I'm grateful for, the family that I have,
Facts.
the friends and the coaches. Like, it's all been part of his plan, and I really, really am thankful, and I try to give thanks every day. Just trying to build that relationship and things like that. Just to be able to do the play the game that I love, as a job right now, and I don't know how long it's gonna last. We never know as players.
Hmm.
Some people play years and years. Some people don't. But it's really up to how far God allows me to make this as my career, and then gonna be extremely thankful of what's next. But I had to give that thanks for sure, because that's one of the main things I try to focus on in life.
For sure. No, that's good stuff, both of you guys. And like I said, I'm glad you guys took some time out to, talk to me. We had some technical difficulties yesterday morning trying to get it figured out, but hey, man, we're good now. And for those of you that are tuning in, man, take a moment. You won't regret it. Hop on any of the social medias. I'm gonna throw out your guys' Instagrams because
Go
um,
for it.
I mean, Spencer Reaves 31. That's for my boy Spencer. And then Jakob Lowrance is at Kobe Low 50. So Kobe Low 50. So anyway, I appreciate you guys, man, and I'm glad that I have you guys as friends. So anyway, we'll keep in touch as always, and
All right, my
you know,
brother. Hey, love you. All
All
love, my
right,
guy.
love
yeah,
you, love you, miss you, man. Take it
We'll
easy.
see you soon.
Keep getting
yeah,
those dubs.
yes, sir. All right, love you guys too. See ya.